All right, good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. I guess you know that.
I'll believe in Auburn and love it. War Eagle.
Missouri at Auburn for all the marbles for Hugh Freeze this weekend. Missouri at Auburn. When he may, continue on for at least a week or two. Lose, and they're going to let him go on Sunday morning or Saturday night.
Correct.
Depending on, I guess, when John Cohen and the administration wants to do it, but that's the way I see it. But yeah, don't forget that either. Missouri at Auburn with a lot on the line, and LSU at Vandy. Don't think that Brian Kelly can't get on the hot seat in two shakes. When a program like Penn State pulls the plug on a guy who's 34-8, other boosters get antsy about. These are men who have done it all and don't have anything else to do. When you're worth $500 million or $1 billion, or it's a combination of guys. 10 to 12 of them are worth several hundred million. You got a couple of billionaires. I'm just throwing out like Florida or Auburn boosters, right? And they've already done it all. They've done everything, and most of them are in their 60s or 70s. I mean, you got some that have hit amazing licks in their 40s and 50s. The Texas Tech guy. You've got these four guys at Mississippi State that are well under 50 years old that are really the lead dogs in their Bulldog Initiative and so on that have hit extraordinary wealth already at 40 years old. But when you're talking about like just Auburn, for example, and you're talking about 20 to 30 guys, when Penn State does what they did, an Auburn group or even a Florida group, Florida's been much more passive, as y'all know, than Auburn has been aggressive. But you can tell that Florida's getting finally done after 15 years post-Urban, other than Dan winning for 3 years. And beating Georgia and going to the SEC championship game and beating Harbaugh in the New Year's Six bowl game. But you just get the sense that LSU, the LSU Mafia, the Auburn Mafia, or the Florida Mafia could get going here in like 5 seconds. It just doesn't take, these guys, they may not be like super close, but they're on foundation boards or the War Eagle, the blah, and they have the suites and they see each other at games and all the, it's just a different day and age than it was 40 years ago. One, wealth-wise in the Sun Belt, but two, as far as people being able to communicate, you're not just sitting out in the stands. I mean, the wealthiest person in the world still sat out in the stands in 1984 and 5.
Right.
But now,
this
in the suite box game, these guys are talking, and again, they may not be golf buddies.
Sure.
And they may not be fourth home vacation buddies, but they are interacting, and now they're going to Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, LSU, and Florida even more, right? In 1985, people didn't live in their college towns. Now, those of you listening have been to Starkville and Oxford so much that you could claim residency just in the last 6 weeks.
Right.
So it's just a different day and age, one, because of the massive wealth boom in the world, but in this country and in this region. And two, when a Penn State pulls the trigger and does what they did, it makes other alumni groups, boosters, dudes, whatever, they're going to cluster.
Yeah.
And they're going to start, okay, well, we can't let Penn State that's what happened. Yep. We can't let Penn State be the school that gets whoever that guy is that they want.
Right.
Whether it's Drink or Signetti or Kiffin or Brom or Brent Key at Georgia, whoever your flavor is right now. I mean, there's some unbelievably talented people out there that are winning. I don't know. Does Dan Lanning want to come back in the SEC? There are some people that believe that Lanning wants to coach in the SEC. That, yes, Oregon's a great job. Yes, Phil Knight has a lot of money, but there's just not the sizzle. There's nobody else really out there other than if Southern Cal gets it going to really get going with. And then you got to fly over here. Not that that's that big a deal anymore, but your big brands that you play in your conference are in the Midwest and the Northeast, in Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State.
Yeah.
So, is Dan Lanning poachable or liftable?
Wow.
From Oregon. And I don't know what his buyout is either. All these guys are signing these massive deals, and I don't know, people are all over the place on Kurt Signetti at Indiana. Is it 10 to 13 million, or is it, 50 million?
How would
50 million sounds excessive, and I don't know why he would sign that, but I'm not Kurt Signetti, so whatever.
Why are we having this discrepancy with that?
Hang on just a second. Hold that thought, though, and I'm going to tell everybody how to enter to win.
I like that.
This Elijah Craig small batch bourbon bottle and old-fashioned syrup, and this jigger here that says Elijah Craig on it, where you measure your stuff and you put it all in. But the SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Fuse.Cloud. Running a business means wearing a lot of hats, but IT shouldn't be one of them. Fuse.Cloud handles everything from cyber security and maintenance to email, backups, internet support, and more. They even help plan your technology needs, so you're never caught off guard. It's like having an entire IT department that never sleeps without the overhead. Fuse.Cloud is trusted by businesses across Mississippi. Fuse, F-U-S-E, Fuse.Cloud. That's the website. All right. And they will be happy to support your business. Visit Fuse.Cloud to get started. It's an awesome Mississippi company. They do business all over the country, but they have a ton of clients in Mississippi. F-U-S-E, Fuse.Cloud. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Good morning. Welcome in. Bowbound Straight Funk with you as we march into another unbelievable weekend of college playoff, possibly elimination games. Not for Ole Miss, not for like an A&M. And Georgia and Bama with one loss, you're not eliminated at 2. But when you get to 2, you gotta stay clean. But this lineup of games is unbelievable. When you look at Ole Miss at Georgia, game day there. Mississippi State at Florida. When Mississippi State should have an opportunity to play all day with Florida and possibly get that W. We'll see. Again, if you had a dual threat quarterback, holy moly, what that would
still in play.
What that would be. LSU at Vanderbilt.
Oh my gosh,
Brian Kelly. I know Vanderbilt's much better, much better. Clark Lee Motors hiring Jerry Kill was kind of like, I think, Levy hiring Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes. Of course, Jerry Kill and that crew brought Diego Pavia with them and a couple other people, and offensive coordinator and so on, but still some similarities. Vandy's a favorite, whatever that means.
Wow. This is the first time they've been favorited against a top 10 opponent since like
1948.
Is it 48?
Something?
Yeah. Good Lord.
Or favored against LSU. It was
top 10.
I have to go back and look at that, but bottom line is it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And then you got Tennessee at Bama and Missouri at Auburn. So it's really unbelievable.
Jeez.
If we thought the lineup of games last week was good, this week's amazing too. It's just going to be an unbelievable day to lock in your living room or man cave or your patio courtyard area and watch football all day long, which I will do. And it's our job. Isn't that beautiful? I think it is. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. All right, Jackson, I got to give out the text line so that people can enter to win this Elijah Craig old-fashioned cocktail kit. The Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. 601-885-3776. Part of the Elijah Craig old-fashioned cocktail kit is a bottle of Elijah Craig small batch bourbon. Must be 21 or older to enter and to win. And here's what we've got. This is good. So we're going to do an out-of-bounds roll call with a question. So are you listening on 105.9 The Zone, or are you streaming the show? You have to answer that. Where are you listening from? You have to answer that. And then we'll go with this. if you could share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with any athlete or coach, past or present, who would it be? If you could share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with any athlete or coach, past or present, who would it be? I know who mine would be. And this is athlete or coach.
Hit me.
Mine's Tart the Shark.
Okay, yeah. God bless.
I'm sure a lot of people would have guessed that with all the times I've referenced him on the show. Now, there's many other coaches I would love to, like right now, currently, I would love to have a steak and share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with Kurt Signetti, just to pick his brain on why he's so awesome.
No doubt.
And just to see how big a chip of, the chip on the shoulder is. We already see it in press conferences. I mean, that would be amazing, right? And I've always thought, having dinner with Sean Payton would be unbelievable because he's full of fire and all kinds of, and I've been around Sean at a bar, but, and he was locked in. Yeah. But, so who would be if you could share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with any athlete or coach, past or present, who would it be?
Oh, yeah.
Politician, I'm sure y'all know who it would be if you've listened to the show. For me, it'd be Winston Churchill, but we're not doing that.
Good one.
We're doing athlete or coach. Athlete or coach.
Oh, yeah. I think I know who mine is.
Okay, hold on. Let me throw out the text line. This is how you enter, and you could win. Must be 21 or older. The text line is 601-885-3776. That's how you got to answer all three questions. Are you listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming the show? Where are you listening from? That's question 2. Question 3. And you got 2 hours and 15 minutes. Third question, if you could share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with any athlete or coach, past or present, who would it be? Who's yours?
Aaron Boone, so I can pour my Old Fashioned on him because I cannot stand Aaron Boone. That man makes me so mad.
This is so great.
Hey,
you just picked
Aaron Boone. That's it.
A guy named Sliced Bread.
You just picked Aaron Boone.
He is literally a guy
named Sliced Bread.
Same thing. Yeah, he ripped my heart out as a kid.
Well, they just beat your Red Sox.
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
The 03.
Oh, you're talking about as a player.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, I'm following now.
The 03 ALCS.
It's early, a little slow.
We won it in 04. We were better in 03.
Okay.
And it'll live rent free in my head forever. Watching him hit that bomb in the bottom of the 11th.
Dude, why are you allowing that? Your Red Sox have had unprecedented success.
Yeah.
In the 2000s.
But it's
unbelievable what y'all have done as far as world championships and how many playoff appearances. Yeah. Y'all finally got your act together with Theo and the crew.
Theo's awesome.
And just started winning and winning and winning. Of course, Jonathan Papelbon, former Mississippi State standout, was one of those guys that was fortunate to be on the Boston Red Sox team when they won one of those World Series.
Mm-hmm. Just one?
I think Paps only got one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was right.
And Paps should have been in whenever Wakefield threw the knuckleball to Aaron Boone, and Boone drills it in the upper deck, and it just crushed my heart.
What year was that?
03.
Yeah, see, Paps was still at Mississippi State.
Right.
So that was the year, actually, he was drafted.
Yeah. I know.
Because he and Mahalam were on the same team. And that team didn't go to a super regional, which is incredible. But Mahalam, who was...
He was so good.
No. Mahalam was incredible. If he doesn't pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates for the bulk of his career, then if you drop Paul Mahalam with the Red Sox or the Yankees or some of these other teams that were winning, if you look at his ERA and how good he was with nothing behind him or around him or wherever,
7 years,
he would have been incredible. I don't think people understand. He was a freshman ace at Mississippi State in 2001.
Oh, I didn't know he was. Oh, wow.
Okay. He beat Skip Bertman in LSU when this is before it had been. In 2001, he beat Skip Bertman and LSU in the SEC championship game. He had already pitched 4 days before and won. That was as a true freshman.
Dang.
True freshman, he was handed the ball to be a Friday night starter.
Wow.
That does not happen often in Starkville or Oxford or Baton Rouge or some of the other programs. Gainesville.
Greenwood?
Well, he ended up coming out of the Memphis area.
Okay, all right.
He was a Memphis, DeSoto County kid.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That pipeline. He was kind of the beginning of that unbelievable pipeline of insane baseball athletes, period. But as DeSoto County population, as you know, population drives more players, more parents, more affluent parents, more people gung-ho.
He was a Germantown boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He looks like what I would want my Mississippi State Bulldog pitcher to look like.
He's built like a Mack truck.
Yeah.
So he's got that thick butt.
He looks like a bulldog.
He's an animal.
It is an animal.
One of the best, if not the best, college pitcher to pitch in this state.
I forgot that, later on in his career, he developed a curveball that dipped into 58. That's a...
So back to your deal. You just said Aaron Boone, which I think is hilarious.
I just can't stand it.
There's something wrong with you.
It would honestly be Manny, though, obviously.
But you and Manny...
That's it.
Ramirez, I almost said Diaz.
Well, that's
because we were referencing all his audio yesterday.
He's making me a believer.
Hold on, you and Manny Ramirez.
Yes.
What in the world?
Manny's a big cigar guy too, so I could definitely see him just drilling a cigar, and then having probably like a Camelback full of old fashioned. Couldn't just be a drink. He would have to, do the whole Camelback thing that has a little straw that runs out of the book bag that you can just, that the runners use.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can see him using that. Yeah, because we're going to be active.
Oh, gosh. All right, let's go to some better than yours.
Great.
What?
Manny would be great. And Big Poppy would be really good, too.
Big Poppy would be good. He's good on TV.
He is.
The MLB Network is actually really, really good. Kind of like the Golf Channel's really, really good. I can watch. I didn't know that I could get into the MLB Network, but it's well done. It is. All right, so we've got people entering into the giveaway. What do we have? Somebody said Pele.
Oh,
that'd be incredible.
That would be
Ben Hogan. Love that. Pistol Pete Maravich.
That's a good one.
That'd be incredible. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Mike Leach. Yeah, William said Mike Leach. I got to do that. That was, I went to several dinners with Mike. It was an absolute trip, a riot, and everything else you can think of.
Ooh,
War Eagle Rich says Charles Barkley. He would be in my top 5. You know that listening to the show. Colby says Pete Rose. Yeah, Pete would have some stories, man. No doubt. This unnamed texter from a 949 area code says Mike Ditka. That's cool.
It's probably a Chicago area code.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it may be.
Nope.
Let's see. ResDog says, I'm using Hugh Freeze's burner phone to stream from a massage parlor. I'd have a drink with with Freeze's. Okay.
Well, it's got to be a burner from Auburn. They didn't get him one at Ole Miss, clearly.
Wow. This guy, Mikey, says John Bond. Bond's great. He's one of the best storytellers of all time.
That's not a bad one at all.
Bond's yeah.
Love John Bond.
Trez says O.J. Simpson. Interesting.
I hear it.
Robert says Walter Payton. I don't know who this guy says. I couldn't quite get that going. Mickey Mantle. Okay. Another Mike Leach, Paul Bear Bryant.
Saying Yaz, Carl Yastrzemski, or Pappy. Probably going Big Pappy there.
TJ says Bear Bryant. And this unnamed texter says Dak Prescott. These are good.
These are really good.
But of course, Bobby Knight, Steve Spurrier.
Got to.
Oh, my God. Lenny Dykstra.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, Dykstra would be amazing to have dinner with in an Elijah Craig old fashioned.
Yeah. Does he do any radio hits, or is he strictly a podcast guy?
Dykstra?
Yeah.
I would think he goes on live in Philadelphia.
Right? Yeah, surely.
I mean, I know if I was a Philadelphia sports talk radio host, I'd have Dykstra in.
Weekly.
I'd pay him.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be hard to find a car dealership or any night like a Rick's Pro Truck type company or an unbelievable steakhouse. I mean, any number of things that you could pair together. Yeah, I'd have Dykstra on for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. I got more Mike Leaches coming in. White Denzel says Randy Moss.
Randy would be a good one.
Man, Randy has done an unbelievable job on TV. I hope he's healthy.
He's
Another
getting
Mike
scared.
Leach, another Leach. Damn, that's a lot of Mike Leaches.
I mean, and I get that though. Why? I mean, he's very eclectic. Isn't even the word I'd use for him. It's whatever that is times 10.
Rebel Greg says Crash Davis. Mac from Inlet Beach. Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson would tell some First of all, he played for the New York Knicks in the 70s, which that would be amazing. What was New York like in the 70s, playing in Madison Square Garden, all that. 2, then to be able to coach Jordan and Pippen and Kukoc and all those dudes and Rodman. Holy moly, the Rodman stories. And then going into the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq and Gasol and dealing with the Buss family and all of that, and him dating Jeannie Buss and all that would be pretty damn amazing.
Where is Pat Riley on this list, though, for you?
Pat's got to be in my top 5.
He's for my no doubt.
That Wright Thompson wrote that article on Pat Riley that was in ESPN, the magazine, and ESPN.com. And it's one of the best sports articles I've ever read in my life about Riley's drive and competitive will and the way he was brutal, the way he was raised, how he got to Kentucky and all that, and then coaching and being an executive. It's incredible.
And then being in Miami.
I don't know how many rings he has now. We count him every year, but what does he have, like 8?
It's more than no, it's
9?
Double.
Okay.
Well, he didn't because he won a couple playing ball. He won a couple as a player.
Okay.
And then he won.
And then he had the Lakers and the Heat.
Forward, right.
Yeah. The dude's incredible.
He won one as a player, 5 as a head coach.
Okay.
1 as an assistant coach.
Okay.
2 as an executive.
Okay.
Just casual resume.
If you could share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with any athlete or coach, past or present, who would it be? That's part of the giveaway this morning. Must be 21 or older. We're giving away an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned cocktail kit. You got to enter on the text line 601-885-3776. You have to answer 3 questions. Are you listening on radio or streaming? Where are you listening from? And if you could share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with any athlete or coach, past or present, who would it be? Must be 21 years or older. We're live in the Bank Plus studio.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Sound Warning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Show me the money!
Oh, man.
Show me the money!
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Oh, man.
Go Hogs. Yes, sir.
Ed Werder, NFL Cowboys Insider, 8:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by the fried crab claws and bone-in filet at Kessler Prime and the Renaissance, KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Don't forget about the rack of lamb. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. We're streaming live. Well, we're on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. I'm wearing a Tampa Bay Rays hat in honor of the great Jake Mangum. And he's going to come in studio hopefully next week. He's going to the Florida game this weekend to root on his Hail State Bulldogs. And, but yeah, I've got a Tampa Bay Rays. And I got a UNLV hoodie getting dropped off at the house today or tomorrow. I ordered one. They gave me, when I went to see Mullen at the football facility, they gave me a golf shirt. I mean, it's, you know, it's nice. But I ordered the black UNLV hoodie with the white UNLV on the left chest.
Yeah,
and I'm excited about that. So I'll be wearing that. Right now I'm wearing my Whiskey 61 pullover, but I just thought I'd give y'all an idea that I had the Tampa Bay Rays hat on today, which I like. I'm getting into gear. I never was into it, and Blake kind of got me going. Then you did, and you know,
certain gear.
Yeah.
You gotta be, I mean, it's gotta be the right
You know what I haven't worn in a while is my Ohio State
pullover. Yeah, I thought you were about to say a jersey.
That Big Ten got me, Dr. Steve Cochise.
I remember when he gave it to you.
Yeah, well, it was when Cardell Jones punked Alabama. Or Cardell and Zeke, I don't remember. But
both. Yeah.
I think they beat Bama in the semis.
Well, they were just scorched.
Is that right?
Yeah. Didn't Zeke have 3, I thought?
I don't know. But anyway, he loved that when Urban took over at Ohio State and Cardell and Zeke, I guess it was, won the national championship. And on the way, they beat Saban. I can't remember when it was. But
it was the 15.
Oh.
It was January 1, 2015 in the Sugar Bowl.
Okay.
That
was the BCS championship game.
Semifinal.
Oh, semifinal.
It was a semifinal. It was the All-State Sugar Bowl semifinal.
Okay, I got you.
Where, good gosh, they put up 77 combined. Zeke had 230 yards.
Zeke had 230 on the ground against a Nick Saban, Kirby Smart team.
And 2 tutties.
That is just and it was, I think, damn near all in the second half. I think Bama was maybe in control going into halftime, and then Ohio State put the damn, boot on the jugular type deal, man.
Amari having 2 tutties that game as well.
Amari Cooper?
Yeah, but Blake Sims had player. 3 picks.
Oh, Blake Sims threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
Is that when Saban fired Kiffin the week before the game, or was that another year?
That may have coincided.
When he had enough of Lane not showing up on time.
And we talked about we along with everyone else talked about it.
If he doesn't do that,
he wins it. They probably win it.
Yeah. I think about he was that fed up with Lane at that time. Lane was still in his immature stage.
It was the
or was that the next
season.
year? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I think that was the year. But I mean, Lane did a great job with Blake Sims.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I mean,
and then he stole Jalen Hurts from Dan Mullen, which wasn't cool. Because it looked like Dan had that wrapped up. Dang. But Bama came in late and got him. We are the Out of Bounds Show. The Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. Do we have Lane on calories? Yeah. Okay. All right. They asked in the press conference, they asked Lane about how much all the how active he is and Kirby, too, on the sidelines, right? They're madmen just walking and all the time. And so they asked him who burns more calories, and this is what Kiffin said.
Off the wall question, you and Kirby, probably some of the more demonstrative coaches on the field. Who do you think burns more calories in a game, you or him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I walked by the TV and saw his press conference today, so it doesn't look like he's burned too many calories.
Off the wall question, you and Kirby,
Wow.
some of the more
By the way, I'm a fan. 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 Oh, man. So how about that? It doesn't look like Kirby has burned that many calories. And look, I mean, Kirby is a little, he's not like.
He's not fat.
Yeah, but he's
chunky.
He's thick.
Yeah.
He's Southern boy thick.
There you go.
Okay, I mean, he played safety, but, you got to like, I mean, Kirby looks like he loves a fried pork chop, blue plate, smothered in gravy with the mashed potatoes smothered in gravy. I mean, that's what 40 to 60% of my audience is going to eat today, which is great. We have restaurants that have amazing blue plates. But Kirby, doesn't he look like he can dial in on a pork chop blue plate, smothered in gravy, some mashed potatoes smothered in gravy?
He's going to go to one that'll let you go through the line twice. It's got to be a buffet style type deal.
Yeah,
because he's drilling that first one.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, he looks like a pork chop. Man, Lane's
he
right.
does.
Lane's right.
He doesn't really look like a safety, although he was a safety in college.
No, he doesn't.
But he kind of comes more off as a overachieving JUCO.
Yeah. No, that's it.
Linebacker, maybe.
Yeah.
Back in the thumper phase when everybody played between the tackles. I mean, Kirby doesn't look like a guy who could play outside the way the game's played now, where you got to be like lightning fast at linebacker because people actually throw it around and all those short and intermediate routes that you got to try to, makes defensive coordinators take crazy pills.
Yeah. What do you think Kirby's 40 time was?
Well, in his prime, I bet he could scoot.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, Kirby.
But now, my God, he's not that old, but he's
really not.
48 or something, yeah. 49, 50. 49 maybe. He's already got 2 national championships.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So is the other guy that's around that age, doesn't he? Dabo? Well, he's got 1, right?
No, Dabo's got 2.
He's got 2.
Played for 4.
God.
Well, we're not even talking about Clemson.
Clemson, I know. That whole deal.
They are.
Oh, my gosh.
No one is talking about the Clemson Tigers. Mm-mm. If you're talking ACC, you're talking Miami and what Cristobal has been able to do this year. And then Brent Key and Georgia Tech.
Yep.
And really not even Brom and Louisville, although that staff's done a magnificent job at a place that doesn't care about football. But yeah, that's what you're looking at. Cristobal in Miami, Brent Key, and Georgia Tech undefeated.
There's no way like the whole Penn State deal could get them fired up enough to go do something dumb, right?
Who?
Clemson.
I don't think so. I don't think Clemson's going to go there. No. I think Dabo probably needs to be careful. He's been quiet lately. He doesn't need to be lecturing the fan base, but, whatever. LSU at Vandy. Somebody asked me on the text line, is Vandy still the favorite? They are. They're -2.5. It's holding right now. Yeah. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Ed Werder on the Cowboys and the NFL at 8:30. No kidding. Wow. Wow. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. We're live right now on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. I've got on an amazing Tampa Bay Rays hat. Y'all are going to be jealous. You're going to want to steal it from me. But I'm not giving it up. It stays here in studio. So this is ESPN 1059 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. I've got Jackson Meadows Straight Funk, or ice cream drinks, according to the Elijah Craig group, with me. And you do drink like you're pledging a sorority.
Yeah, I had that banana thing.
Oh yeah, you went straight for. So let me lay this out real quick. Yesterday we were at Taste Italian Restaurant for Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week, and it was fantastic. And they're doing this. They're offering 3 different Elijah Craig Old Fashions. They have the original Elijah Craig Old Fashioned. Then they have a NOLA Elijah Craig Old Fashioned, which Jazz made for us. It was made where, they light it, and they got the little smoke thing over it and all that. So they did that. And then they have a whiskey banana something.
Yeah, whiskey is bananas.
Did you get one?
I did. Whiskey is BANANAS is what they told me.
Okay.
That's what it is. That's why it's named that. There's a song way back when.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says, this stuff is bananas, BANANAS. It was a banger.
Really?
Well, it's an old school banger, but it has the same
like from like the Sinatra days?
Oh no, this was like early 2000s.
Oh, when you were listening to like NSYNC.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We go there, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead.
But yeah, I mean,
how was it?
It was.
I didn't realize you ordered one of those.
I did.
I had the NOLA Elijah Craig Old Fashioned.
I like bananas.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like really good banana pudding from
love that
Burgers Blues Barbecue.
Absolutely.
Oh, and banana pudding is really good. Banana pudding is so damn good. But go ahead. Sorry, I don't like just a banana, just to peel a banana and eat it. I just can't. But, I mean, I've done. I went through a couple of stages. I just can't do it.
They're phenomenal.
They're really not.
But they're better when they're dehydrated. All right, banana chips.
Oh, the way they do the dried fruit.
Oh,
okay.
They're great. They're a great snack, right? So basically, they had a few of those. They had dehydrated banana chips, and they dropped those in there, and it added the perfect.
That's a cool factor.
Sweet. Bananas are very sweet.
Shout out to Taste for not just
they killed it
for not just running the program for Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week, and not just creating one cocktail, but creating 3. So if you go into Taste Italian Restaurant today in the Renaissance in Ridgeland, they've got the little table tents or whatever you call them, and they give you, it's 3 options. It's pretty awesome. So shout out to that group. That was fun. All right, let's get into, oh my gosh, I've got a text.
Yeah.
This guy just threw the gauntlet down. Holy Mary Olzab. This could be volatile. We could have some turbulence. I want everybody to double buckle up going into work. All right? So go ahead and buckle up again. Make sure the seatbelt's tight, because I'm not sure how this is going to land, but Chad just texted. I don't know who Chad is, but Chad just texted the Elijah, not the Elijah Craig.
Nice. Everything.
Although Philip M's on the property of Pearl River Resort does have Elijah Craig. But the Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. And Chad is talking about the need for a dual threat quarterback at Mississippi State. Now, they've got 2 on the roster in Luke Cromenhawk, who is a 4-star out of Georgia and signed with Florida State, and Camario Taylor, who was a 4 or 5-star out of Noxubee County and signed with Mississippi State. Blake Shapen's a passer. I mean, he's got some mobility, but he's not a runner. And I think to win conference games, wherever you are in the league, wherever you are, from A&M to Georgia, from LSU to South Carolina, from Arkansas down to all the different spots and spaces and places. You got to play 11 on 11, and you have to have a threat, a dual threat QB at the QB position. This is from Chad. Bo, speaking of dual threat QBs, and this comes after a season last year when we knew we had to be ultra aggressive in the portal for a starting dual threat QB for 2025. We zeroed in on our guy, Jackson Arnold, and missed. I'm not mad. We then zeroed in on a much better prospect who's basically Nick Fitzgerald with much more air talent. He's third string today, and Chapin is still our guy. We continue to take hammers and stand around trying to bang square pegs into a round hole. Now, I know we have problems on the offensive line, and Chapin isn't the glaring problem, but that's more reason to have someone who can move at QB. Will Rogers was the problem. Chapin isn't the glaring problem, but when our mission was to attack the portal for a starting quarterback, I don't want a guy who's simply described as not necessarily the glaring problem. We had the money to buy a guy who can overcome problems like ours. Instead, we have a guy who exacerbates them. That's from Chad on the Golden Moon Casino text line. What is your reaction to that text? 601-885-3776. What's your reaction to that text? All right. I need to know.
We ain't going nowhere.
Whoa.
We ain't going nowhere.
601-885-3776.
You agree with him?
I do agree with
I
him.
do too. I mean,
I do agree.
You at least have to have the
Because you
threat.
want Jeff Lebby to work.
Right.
You need him to work. You need him to work.
Yeah.
You need him to stay. But, dude, you got to win a conference game at some point.
Because like the
I mean, I know
4-0
you got the people on Gene's page who want a 4 or 5 year rebuild. That's nonsense.
Who rebuilds?
That's a
Thing of the
losing
past.
mentality.
Rebuilding is done
What did Manny Diaz say yesterday?
today.
Right. You
Time
can
to
win
win.
at Duke immediately. You can win at Indiana immediately. You can win wherever immediately. That's the only thing they're missing. And look, this is the floor talent-wise for Mississippi State, but if you had a dual threat, if you were playing Cromenhawk, I think you beat Tennessee. If you're playing Cromenhawk, I mean, Camario's the future. You can't be worried about next year.
No.
It's about winning games now.
Because you may not be here next year.
Chad bringing the thunder on the Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. Oh, man.
I mean, and when you say mobile quarterback, though, we're not talking Fitz.
It doesn't have to be Nick
We're not
Fitzgerald
talking
level.
that, right? We're talking
I'm just talking about,
extension of plays.
yes, and go get some yards and play 11 on 11.
So, I mean,
you're playing 10 on 11, and people are harping on the O-line. The O-line in college football is what it is.
Yeah, it's always bad.
There have been dozens of plays where Chapin's had all day, too. There have been some where he doesn't have time. You've got to be able to move and have kind of that football running mobile ability instinct. While he's pretty damn good from the pocket throwing the football, if you were playing a mobile, I think you'd rather have a plus runner and a pretty good passer than a plus passer and no runner.
All day.
That's because I'll go back to Ole Miss last weekend, who was on the ropes and could have lost the game, but Trinidad Chambliss made 2 plays in the fourth quarter to save their you-know-what because nothing was going right. But we saw that in other spots too. Arch Manning's mobility helped them against Oklahoma.
Right.
Nussmeier's lack of mobility is we're going to see what's going to go on there. But LSU and Vandy, Diego Pavia, we'll see. Ed Werder coming up next. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And the show is brought to you by Total Transportation of Mississippi. They offer nationwide and regional routes for solo and team drivers. All right. Competitive pay, paid vacation, full benefits, all powered by Total Transportation of Mississippi, offering nationwide and regional routes, frequent home time, weekly pay, and monthly bonuses. You can apply today. TotalMS.com. It's right there on the front page, TotalMS.com. We're 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Our guests join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. We welcome in Cowboys NFL insider Ed Werder to the show. Before I get in to the Cowboys currently, I follow Ed on Twitter. He's a good follow, and at some point in the last week, he mentioned he was with a group. I don't know if they were in a bar or restaurant or after practice or something, and that the legendary Jimmy Johnson, former Dallas Cowboys coach, Hurricanes and Dolphins and so on, walked Ed and some others, maybe his colleagues, through the Herschel Walker trade and kind of how it was layered, and it is known as possibly the best trade in the history of the NFL. Ed, I think I'm right. You tweeted about that within the last week. When Jimmy walked you through that night, can you give us kind of what he was thinking and how it all played out and so on?
Yeah, the reason, Bo, that I mentioned that Herschel Walker trade was it was on the anniversary of that deal, which the Cowboys refer to as the Great Train Robbery. And you know, if you watch the America's Team, A Gambler and His Cowboys documentary on Netflix, it's still a big point of contention between Jerry and Jimmy as to who exactly made this trade. And Jimmy has insisted that it was, he did it. He initiated it. He's the one who called Michael in after they had an offer from the Browns that they thought they could improve upon. They reached out to the Vikings, and they made this very complicated deal. And my argument has always been in trying to reconcile who did what in this deal was we were at an NFL owners meeting at the time in Dallas at the DFW Hyatt, and Jimmy late that night explained to a handful of beat writers all of the complexities of the trade. In other words, what motivated them was not what it seemed. It wasn't acquiring the 5 veteran players from Minnesota who were going to immediately become Cowboys starters because this was such a depleted roster in terms of talent, that the real goal was to get the draft picks, and that Jimmy was going to get the draft picks. And now that he had the players already and the potential to choose the draft picks and cut the players, he actually had all the leverage he needed to get both, if that's what he wanted. Because Minnesota wasn't going to take back players that they traded to Dallas 6 months before, right? That would be an awkward situation to introduce into your locker room. And so he knew they were, and he understood that the Vikings thought the Cowboys wanted the players when really it was the picks that they prized, and that's what Jimmy was going to manipulate the draft ultimately to get, was all of the picks. And they obviously did that, and it was a central piece in building a team that won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. They got Emmitt Smith, they got Darren Woodson, they got Kevin Smith, the starting corner, they got Russell Maryland. Wow. So it was an enormous deal, and that it was on the recent anniversary. And keeping in mind all of the obvious conflict that still exists between Jimmy and Jerry about, who was responsible for making this brilliant trade, one-of-a-kind trade.
And it was Jimmy Johnson, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy made all the phone calls, and contractually, I've seen the contract, and Jimmy provided the contract to the producers of the documentary. They chose not to use it, but it's very clear in there that Jimmy had control over personnel.
Even before we connected with you, we've talked about Jimmy Johnson for years because I'm pretty fascinated with him and how talented he was, both college level and pro level. It was such a short burst, as you know, Ed, even Cowboys and Dolphins, because there's so many of these guys, Chuck Noll, Landry, Belichick, and all these guys that coach forever and ever, the Harbaughs, whatever. But I've always thought Jimmy was also one of the best general managers in the history of the league, and talent evaluators. Just understood, even at Miami, he was moving safeties to linebackers and making linebackers edge rushers and all that kind of stuff, Ed, as you know. Do you consider him one of the better evaluators in the history of the NFL?
I think he's one of the great, motivators of players, one of the great evaluators of prospects, and a great roster builder, a great builder of teams. And, he knew how to create the right mentality for the biggest games the Cowboys would play. And to me, that was the biggest takeaway watching those 9 episodes, was just how great those teams were, how they were always up for the moment. Like, they played their absolute best in the biggest games against the best opponents. And that's something we haven't seen from the Cowboys in 30 years. But yeah, he was, when he came, I think people forget, when he came to the Cowboys in 1989, off a national championship at Miami, and drafted Troy Aikman first overall, he had a vision that was different than what the kind of football that was being played in the NFC East at the time. I mean, at the time he joins a division, with Joe Gibbs in Washington and Bill Parcells with the Giants, and it was all about being big and physical. And Jimmy took the opposite approach. He wanted to emphasize speed and quickness, and so he really exploited the philosophies that other teams in his division had, which was contrary to his, because he felt like quick and fast beats big and slow, and he proved to be right about it. He flipped the division upside down in a short space of time. But I don't know that people recognize how Jimmy saw football and how he saw the evolution of it to more of a speed and quickness, open field type of game. And that's what the Cowboys played. They were brutally, efficient up front on both lines of scrimmage. They would win the line of scrimmage. But Jimmy also wanted speed to be a key element, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Ed Werder, Cowboys NFL insider on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. All right, so after watching America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys on Netflix, and you were all in that, and again, I was a kid, so I could only get so much information while they were rolling, right? But we were paying attention. You were there in the trenches.
Yeah.
But we didn't have Twitter and .com and all that, as you well know. So my take, tell me if I'm wrong here, Ed. My takeaway on that was Emmett was great. Jimmy's amazing. You mentioned the 2 line of scrimmages. I didn't realize that maybe Michael Irvin was the key to the whole thing. As much as he would get in trouble off the field and had a bad boy image, but his competitive temperament and his drive and willing to win, I just didn't know he ran that hot. It was almost like he was the guy who drove this whole thing, and you don't usually say that about a wide receiver, Ed Werder.
Yeah, I was asked to do a sit-down for a piece that NFL Films did on Michael Irvin's career, and you're right about, he was a great competitor, and he brought that to practice every day. He brought it in training camp, and then in the games, he was otherworldly in that regard. But he also did hurt the team a couple times because he got suspended for, and he embarrassed the franchise for some off-the-field issues. And the way I kind of summarized Michael Irvin was, I said he gave football everything he had, every game, every practice, every off-season workout. But he also took everything it offered. Yeah. And that led to some of the problems that he had. But even to this day, like just last week, Jerry was talking about the leadership that Dak Prescott provides, and he's trying to put that into perspective in terms of, all the time he's owned the team for 36 years. And he wants to say that Dak Prescott is the greatest leader he's ever been around from a football point of view. And the only thing that prevents him from saying that unequivocally is the regard he had for Michael Irvin and all he meant to those teams. Ultimately, Jerry puts Dak Prescott on that level. He is the current Michael Irvin in terms of what he means in that locker room, on that field, getting guys to play their best, getting guys prepared to perform at the highest level, holding teammates accountable. I mean, he says that, he puts Dak Prescott right there with Michael Irvin, but that speaks to where after, 35 years in the NFL, he still all this time later regards Michael Irvin as that fierce a competitor and that great of a player.
What's it like when that trio, Aikman has been very critical of the Cowboys. So is Emmett and Irvin. Yet I have to believe they have, or maybe one or two have an even closer relationship, but they're in the club with Jerry, as you know, from the success that we all know about. But what is it like when they're around each other, knowing how critical they've been about Jerry as a GM, Ed?
I think Michael and Emmett have been more careful about the way they describe Jerry's performance as a general manager and builder of a team publicly. Troy has not been that. Troy has been unfiltered. You heard him say in the documentary that Jerry's trying to learn how to be a general manager on my time as a quarterback. My assumption is that he was even more critical than that, and some of that was not used because Jerry had some level of editorial control over the project. And I think Troy was somewhat surprised that even that criticism was allowed to remain in the piece. But yeah, Troy does radio locally. Troy does, he's very prominent on ESPN Monday Night Football, and he always did the big game for Fox on Sundays, for decades. And he was always honest about how he felt about Jerry. I think that in some ways, Troy feels like because of Jerry's poor performance as a general manager that he had half a career. He had the great half when he had Jimmy building the team and preparing everybody to play and all those great games. But the back half of his career was an unmitigated disaster between the injuries and the deteriorating roster that he was forced to play with. So I think Troy's been like, hey, there's nothing Jerry can do to me. Like, I'm already in the Hall of Fame on my own merits. I'm already in the Ring of Honor. He couldn't deny me that. I'm not beholden to Jerry. I'm going to tell it like it is, because that's the personality that Troy's always had. And that's what I respect so much about him, is he doesn't care, at what cost it is to him personally to be truthful publicly about his experience with the Cowboys and with Jerry as a general manager.
Ed Werder on the Out of Bounds show, driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. This is ESPN 105.9 The Zone. So how would you describe their Aikman and Jerry Jones? Is it just they're connected because of the 3 Super Bowls, or are they close friends?
Oh, they're not close friends. They don't get together socially very often. Troy for a number of years, applied pressure to Jerry to put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor, especially after he was in the Hall of Fame. He felt like his whole generation of players didn't belong in the Ring of Honor any more than Jimmy did, and that it was incomplete without Jimmy being included. And so ultimately, not long ago, they prevailed and they got Jimmy in the Ring of Honor, just last year actually. But no, I don't think they have a very close relationship. I mean, I think there were times when earlier in his career where Troy would have considered, leaving broadcasting to become the general manager of the Cowboys, or if he was going to have true autonomy and real control over personnel. But I don't think that ever came close to happening because Jerry and Stephen were, often offended by some of the things that Troy did share publicly in terms of his opinion of their job performance. But that just wasn't a concern for Troy. Like, he wanted to be honest about all that. But I think that could have happened at a time, and I think that would have been hugely beneficial to the Cowboys. But it never will happen now that we're past that point. And but what I mentioned about Troy feeling like he had half a career and the other half was wasted while Jerry was trying to prove himself as a general manager. I think Jerry has as much acknowledged that this week when he talked about, hey, I didn't get my biggest regret in all my time as general manager is I never got a team around Tony Romo that was good enough to get to a Super Bowl. And yeah, I'm kind of in the process of repeating that right now with Dak Prescott. I mean, they've had these 2 straight decades of high-level quarterback performance, and yet they've not even managed to get to a championship game. Now, part of that is on the quarterbacks in the postseason. Their play, hasn't been great for the most part. I mean, they're 4-9 combined for a reason, Tony and Dak. But they also haven't had great teams. I don't know that they ever went on the field, in those games where their season ended, with the possible exception of the debacle against the Packers, where they were clearly, demonstratively the better team based on how they had played that year. But they were never better than the 49ers, teams that they lost to. So, I think that criticism persists, and maybe Jerry's recognizing that there's some validity to it because of what's happened in the Romo era and how similarly it looks to what's going on right now with the Dak Prescott era.
Ed Werder on the Out of Bounds show. Yeah, as much as, and you know this, as much as I'm a big fan of Dak Prescott, and I understand how he lifted up Mississippi State, and he's played really well for Dallas, and I think it's a disaster all around him. The one, I wish Dak was put a little bit more pressure on Jerry.
Yeah.
He's 32 now. He's made several $100 million. He'll have a great life either way. But I wish, because I didn't realize until I watched the documentary with you and Jerry and everybody in it, how vocal Aikman was and how, ticked off and so on, and some of the things that he would say. I wish Dak would put a little more pressure on Jerry and Steven in the press, but I don't know if he's going to do that. How do you see it, Ed?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I kind of hinted at that with Dak a week or two ago when we had access to him. He speaks every Thursday, and he will today to the media. And one of the things I asked him, given the disparity between how he's performing and what the offense is doing, leading the league, and then having the worst defense in the league, like, what are the limits of your leadership as far as, do you feel confident and that it's your responsibility to be engaging with the entire team? Like, could you go into a meeting room and call out the defense, which is what I think he ought to do right now if he hasn't done it. And if he ever did something like that, we probably wouldn't know. He would do it in a very subtle way. But yeah, I definitely think that, Troy made his position when he was the quarterback of this franchise. He made his position well known, both publicly and privately, to Jerry. And I'm not sure that happens with Dak. Maybe it does, but I don't know. In the 10 years he's been here, I don't have an example that I know that happened. And I do have examples knowing that happened with Troy. And maybe it's, some people would say, well, it's because he hasn't ever won anything like Aikman did. He won Super Bowls. You have, that collateral. Or maybe it's not consistent with his personality, but he says he holds his offensive teammates and others accountable. So why would you not hold Jerry accountable unless you feel like, well, he made you the richest player in the history of football, begrudgingly. You had to fight him for it. Right. But you still have that designation all this time later, a year and a half later. You're still the highest paid player in all of football, in the history of the entire sport. And so maybe that makes it difficult for him to criticize Jerry publicly as well.
Okay. Ed Werder, recognized by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He joins us on the Out of Bounds show and the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. All right, we got a few minutes here, Ed. That was great, by the way. We'll go Commanders and Cowboys. Washington, 1.5 favorite, games in Dallas. Washington's not what they were last year, but still a dangerous team. This is another divisional. Last week, good Lord, Rico Dowdle, I feel like he went for 600 yards. I text you. I was just upset. And I need to not be, but I was.
Well, you took it personally. Unfortunately, they didn't.
Yeah. So Dan Quinn is coming back. He has done a damn good job for the Commanders, as you know. He did a good job with the Cowboys. Handicap this one for me, Ed.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about Dan Quinn is, if you look at the last 6 years in Dallas, from the time Mike McCarthy became the head coach in 2020, they're on their fourth different defensive coordinator. And the only exception from what we're experiencing right now, where the Cowboys are one of the worst defenses in football and being scored at on a historic level, were the 3 years that they had with Dan Quinn. He created a defensive identity for the Cowboys that was based in quarterback pressures, takeaways, defensive touchdowns. I mean, two of their corners who now haven't touched a football, literally they don't have an interception or a pass defense, Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs, both led the NFL in interceptions in 2 different seasons under Dan Quinn. And now he comes in and he's, facing the hottest quarterback in football. it comes at a time when everybody's scrutinizing the poor performance of the defensive side of the ball and what possible solutions there can be. And the other interesting part of the Dan Quinn return is when Brian Schottenheimer came into the Cowboys organization, despite his vast background and really because of it, he was actually paired with Dan Quinn. He was an analyst, but he was helping Quinn. He was in the defensive meeting rooms offering an offensive perspective to Dan Quinn on, well, if I was drawing the game plan up against, you this week, here's what I would attack in your scheme. Here's the players in this matchup I would, try to isolate and take advantage of. So it's interesting from all those points of view, but this is a rivalry that Dak has, really owned. He's 6-0 with 17 touchdown passes and no interceptions in his career at home against the Commanders. And the Cowboys averaged 41.3 points per game in those games. That's the most points per game by any team at home versus another team since 1950.
Damn. Okay. I still don't feel good about it. So
how about this? Dak's 20-2 at home against divisional opponents, and that's the best record by any quarterback with at least 15 home divisional starts since the merger in 1970. He's won 17 straight home games against the NFC East. Only Tom Brady and Brett Favre have longer home divisional winning streaks since the 1970 merger than Dak has against Washington.
And Jerry and Stephen Jones have wasted it. Unbelievable. All right. Ed Werder on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Ed, that was fantastic. Have a great weekend. We'll talk next week, my man.
Always great to talk to you, and text me anytime on Sunday when you're upset.
Ed Werder joining us on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Pearl River Resort and the Golden Moon Casino Vegas-style sportsbook. Bet $50 there. Play award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club for $40. Bet 50, play 40 on the property of Pearl River Resort. Show is also brought to you by our friends at Juniker Jewelry Store. If you are in the market for an engagement ring and you want to be a 5-star player, Juniker Jewelry Store. If you're looking for a bracelet, earrings, a beautiful necklace, you want to go local, you want to go with the team at Juniker. Juniker Jewelry Store. John and Corey and the team do an amazing job. They're a mile down the road from where we are right here on Highland Colony in Madison. And they do it right. Super high quality work and unbelievable reputation. Juniker Jewelry Store. Highland Colony in Madison. Engagement rings, bracelets, necklaces, and earrings. All powered by Juniker Jewelry Store on Highland Colony in Madison. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone. ESPN Lunch today brought to you by Martin's in Livingston. Let's go a cup of gumbo and the wings.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio.
It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
All right, here we go. Good morning, good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. Thanks for making us your sports and entertainment show of choice. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app and the Zone1059.com. TheZone1059.com. Bo Bounds is straight funk here on an awesome game week for you. And our game week coverage is brought to you by Eye Care Professionals. If you need cataract surgery or a routine eye exam, anything in between, Eye Care Professionals. Dr. Kirk Jeffries, Eye Care Professionals. 2 locations on Lakeland Drive, 1 in Jackson, 1 Flowood, Belmead. And I've been going there for 20 years. So, Eye Care Professionals. Because I have contacts and glasses and, well, I'm blind. But they keep me going. And you need to see the softball, baseball, tennis ball, football, if you're a linebacker or safety or slot receiver, wide receiver, tight end. Right? Your son or daughter playing sports, they need to be able to see the ball. Eye Care Professionals, Dr. Kirk Jeffries, and the team at Eye Care Professionals see the difference. Powered by Eye Care Professionals. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Jackson Meadows, will you tee that Lane Kiffin audio up for me again, please, sir, on calories? As we roll into this unbelievable weekend of college football and NFL, as I hadn't really looked at the slate of games in the NFL until Ed Werder was coming on, and I went, holy Mary old Zab again. So y'all don't need to text me. I love all of you. If you want to come out to the lake and hang out, that's great. But I'm watching football all weekend. And Wendy and I are going to make clean nachos. I don't know what the kids are doing. I talked to Wilkes yesterday. He was on the golf course. I mean, it's tough to have fall break and go to the beach for 4 or 5 days and then go back to Starkville and play golf on yeah. So anyway, I'm not sure what they're doing, but I know what Bo's doing. I'll go Ricky Henderson. And I know what I'm doing, and that is I'm watching an enormous amount of football because starting with the Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary game at 11 a.m. with LSU and Vandy, and that's intriguing to me. And then going throughout the afternoon with Ole Miss and Georgia and Mississippi State and Florida, and then the night games, holy smokes, you're giving me Tennessee at Bama, and I don't know what Oklahoma and South Carolina are going to do, and I don't know what Missouri at Auburn's going to. This is going to be a crazy pills Saturday. Some of these are playoff games, basically. Ole Miss can't get eliminated this weekend, even if they take a loss, because they have wiggle room because they're undefeated. Georgia would not be eliminated, but they would have no more margin for error as they have already taken a loss to Alabama at home, as you know. LSU's marching along. We don't believe that they're for real, even though they only have 1 loss. And if they lose, they'll be in kind of that same space, no margin for error. Bama's hosting Tennessee. They're both with 1 loss. Ty Simpson's playing well. Joey Aguilar, Heupel, DeBoer, I think that's delicious. Bama's at home. They seem to be getting revved up and going in the right direction. They've been on a pretty brutal stride. I mean, they had to play at Georgia and at Missouri. I mean, that's and they had to make sure that they shut down Diego after he took their manhood last year, and they got those 2 red zone, turnovers on Pavia. So Bama hosting Tennessee. Woo! Come on. And then another question for weeks now is going to be, can Penn State poach a sitting SEC coach? Can they poach drink from Missouri? Can they poach Lane from Ole Miss? I doubt it. I don't see Lane going to Penn. I don't know why. I mean, it's a great program. I just think I don't see Lane going up north. Now, if Florida or LSU comes open, it could get, you better buckle up if they don't go with Drink. And then Beamer is intriguing to me, but he's had some success. They're 3-3. They haven't had the year that they wanted, but what he said in the post-game press conference last week said, look, we're not winning, but we're getting better. We'll see what they can do this weekend against Oklahoma. Venables, man, after they played so poorly and were embarrassed by a Texas team that's not that good, you're going to now go on the road into Columbia, South Carolina against a desperate South Carolina team, which I thought got hosed on their fake punt call. See how that plays out, too. The problem is Venables, they start off hot. Now they've lost. If they lose again this weekend, with their schedule, they could have some more L's, and then all of a sudden, they're really unhappy. Now, he's on a massive contract. Joe Castiglione, who's stepping down as athletic director at Oklahoma, decided to bid against himself. Boy, that sounds smart. And he gave Brent Venables a $50 million contract after Brent had proved nothing in the Big 12 in a unbelievably weak conference. It's actually getting a little bit better right now with NIL, with Texas Tech and some others, but I'm talking about a couple of years ago. So I say that all to say that you know that this Saturday could be epic. Epic. I mean, and again, game days in Athens. So, watching Saban Saturday morning really walk us through the matchup of Kiffin, who's a top 10 coach, possibly top 5, and Smart, who's a top 5 coach right now in college football, that again is delicious because they both coached at Bama. They know each other so well, and Lane beat Kirby last year in Oxford, and the year before that, Kirby beat Ole Miss by 1 million in Athens. But the thing has shifted since then. Is there a gap? Yeah, but it's not that much. And y'all have watched Georgia. They're not dominant in the line of scrimmage like they were Kirby's first 6 years at Georgia. And it's just a different day and age. The Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And we'll go Key City Beer. Love some Key City Beer out of Vicksburg. The Key City Beer caller line is 601-707-3750. Key City's got a brewery and eatery, restaurant and bar in Vicksburg. It is absolutely beautiful on Washington Street. I mean, the place is amazing. And they got a rooftop bar, too. They've got this outside area with the rolling garage doors, Jackson. That's where I did the show a couple weeks ago for Key City. It's so cool. And their bar is beautiful, very whiskey craft beer feel. And of course you can find their beers at Fleetway Market and grocery stores and so on around. But their Oktoberfest is out. Key City Mi Vida and Mississippi Queen are also delicious. Key City Beer, Key City out of Vicksburg. All right. Morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds show. Can we drop the audio? Do we have time? All right, let's do it on the other side. We'll be back in just a second. The show is brought to you by Mills Contracting. If you're looking for a general contractor to build your next strip mall, assisted living facility, or community center, Mills Contracting in Gluckstadt, Mississippi, with projects all over the state of Mississippi. Starkville, East Mississippi, right now, assisted living and strip centers. Mills Contracting, Matt Mills and the team, Mills Contracting in Gluckstadt. Call them today for your next assisted living facility or strip mall, or they'll build that restaurant, a restaurant for you too. Mills Contracting, over 30 years experience.
Off the wall question, you and Kirby, probably some of the more demonstrative coaches on the field. Who do you think burns more calories in a game, you or him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I walked by the TV and saw his press conference today, so it don't look like he's burned too many calories.
Off the wall question, you and
Good morning to you. We love you. Thanks for listening to the show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're excited to have the Mississippi State University Bagley College of Engineering on the show. Did you know this? And it is the prestigious Bagley College of Engineering at Mississippi State University. Did you know that Bagley College of Engineering students can participate in any of the several dozen impactful teams and clubs on campus? For example, the Space Cowboys rocketry team recently won first place at the IREC Spaceport America Cup, the world's largest intercollegiate rocket engineering conference and competition. The Space Cowboys at Mississippi State University Bagley College of Engineering won it. How about that? It's unbelievable. 94% post-graduation placement. And they've got something they call ID, and it's the Innovation, Design, and Engineering Education Lab in the Michael W. Hall School of Mechanical Engineering. Brings industry and government partners and state-of-the-art equipment to campus. Students have real-world co-op-like experiences as part of their curriculum without having to leave campus. Impressive for sure. And again, the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in the Bagley College of Engineering offers new bachelor's and master's degrees in AI. The bachelor's in AI, which started in the fall of 2024, was the first such degree in the Southeastern Conference. We're excited to have the Bagley College of Engineering on the campus of Mississippi State University as a partner on the show, the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Let's talk a little bit about our giveaway today and what we've been doing this week. Man, we've been hobnobbing.
I thought yesterday was Friday.
Yeah. Well, of course you did.
Yeah.
So y'all know that the official bourbon of the Out of Bounds Show is award-winning Elijah Craig. We only partner with the best, which I just referenced with MSU. And so we have these unbelievable Elijah Craig old-fashioned cocktail kits. And it's Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. And 190-plus restaurant and bars in the state of Mississippi are participating. That's amazing to me, to raise money for service industry workers who need medical bills paid. So this kit is a bottle of Elijah Craig small batch and some old-fashioned syrup and a jigger with Elijah Craig engraved on it. And so we're giving it away. Must be 21 or older. And how do you enter to win and be awesome? So on the text line, 601-885-3776, I need you to answer 3 questions, and that's how you enter and you could win this awesome giveaway. Are you listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming? That's question 1. Where are you listening from? Question 2. And I love this. If you could share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with any athlete or coach, past or present, who would it be? Mine was Tark the Shark, Jerry Tarkanian. Y'all know. But I could have gone Jimmy Johnson, Pat Riley, any number. Phil Jackson would have been, there's unbelievable guys to tell stories. And I think I've been fortunate to have dinners with Mike Leach and Dan Mullen and Chris Jans and Cohen and Lamonis and Gotro and so on, and others. But who would be your athlete or coach? Mine was Tark the Shark. Somehow Jackson said Aaron, what'd you say, Boone?
Yeah, I want to pour it on him.
Jackson came up with this idea that he wanted to share an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned with.
I'm gonna share it with him.
Aaron Boone and he would pour it on him.
Yep.
Which wouldn't be awesome now that I think about it because they're sticky because of the syrup.
Yeah. So
you would basically be at some kind of fancy schmancy New York steakhouse
and drown him in it.
And you would pour your Elijah Craig old fashioned on him.
Yeah, and and I'd have something, I'd have a quip with it. I don't know what I would say, but there would be something that I planned to say.
And you said you were a kid.
Yeah, I mean,
and he broke your heart in 2003 in the postseason.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I mean, I can see the shot. I can just see him hitting the ball, and it's terrible. I can see Wakefield letting that knuckle go, and it just flowed.
Is this before? Was that right before the bloody sock and Kurt Schilling won it? Was that the next year they did?
That's correct.
Or the next?
The next year.
Okay.
Should have gone back to back. They were the best team in baseball both years.
I couldn't remember.
And then the Schilling deal happened. That's how you know I wasn't an 04 kid. I didn't come for the curse. I was before the curse.
Gotcha. Andrew from Brandon on the text line. He's listening in Brandon, Mississippi. He'd share one with John Gruden.
Gruden. God. That actually, that'd be pretty good.
Can you imagine having a dinner and an Elijah Craig old fashioned with Dennis Rodman?
Oh my gosh. No.
My goodness. Somebody said Allen Iverson. That'd be wild.
It would be great. The guys that have, gone through it and lost it all and had to get it back. Yeah, I'd like to hear from them.
Yeah. Mike Tyson.
Every bit of
He
it.
was in Vegas. He lives in Vegas, right? So he was at that conference I was at. I think I missed him by a few minutes, but I want to say he was a room or two over from us. And he was, I don't know, he was like a celebrity, blah, blah, blah there. I guess you get paid, 50 to 100K to show up, something like that, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
He does live out there. He's got his ranch out there and whatnot.
Yeah. I know he's all in the cannabis or whatever it is, but he was there at the sports gaming, betting, all that stuff conference last week in Las Vegas. I didn't see him though. I was at Sushi Samba. I got the invite. I had to go.
Gotta go. Made a good call.
What now?
Made a good call.
Some of the best sushi, if not the best sushi I've ever had in my life. I didn't realize it was more than one. They have one in Miami and a couple others, maybe over in the West Coast, LA Laguna. I can't remember. But, yeah. Billy Morgan. Oh, well, I said his name. He's streaming, listening in Madison, and he says the Pirate. Leach is running the show.
So many votes.
Space Palace says, I'm listening on 105.9 The Zone. I'm heading to Dancing Rabbit to play some golf. Nice. Mine would be Michael Jordan. Play around the golf, have a few drinks, and he's got some great cigars. Yeah, Jordan loves a good beverage. He's now in the tequila game, and that's what you saw during the COVID, whatever they rolled out, the show on him, the great one or whatever it was called. I watched it religiously a couple of times. If you notice when he's sitting in his home in, looks like Miami, but that could be his place down by Atlantis. He's got some beautiful cigars. I can't remember what he smokes, but I'll look in Cigar Aficionado. I've got one over there where he's on the cover. And he's got a glass of tequila. It looks like bourbon, but he's got a glass of tequila in those shots when he's talking about the greatest one or whatever they called it. All right, more Out of Bounds. We're going to keep on rolling. More Out of Bounds coming up next. And lunch today brought to you by McBee's Bar and Grill on Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. From the wine burgers to the blue plates. Local, one of the coolest local dive bars in the Southeast. McBee's Bar and Grill, Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. Your SEC Insider hit this morning is brought to you by the Rogue Men's Store. From absolutely beautiful Jack Victor sport coats and suits to Martin Dingman shoes, hottest shoes in the country, Martin Dingman shoes at the Rogue Men's Store. And, of course, Wolf and Shepherd shoes. The LA Rams and Houston Texans coaching staff wearing the Wolf and Shepherd shoes all year, along with Matt Leinart and Rob Gronkowski. Wolf and Shepherd shoes at the Rogue Men's Store, plus all the Peter Millar, Ole Miss and Mississippi State gear. The Rogue Men's Store, I-55 North, iconic building in Jackson. They just renovated their store and moved it up front in that building. And Spring Street Cigars took the back left, all 3 floors. And, of course, they have a full bar on first floor. Second floor is humidor and smoking lounge. And third floor is smoking lounge, members club. And then you've got the rooftop bar, which anybody can go out there. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to be a member to go. And the walk-in humidor, they're a Davidoff dealer, which not everybody is. That's few and far between. So, Spring Street Cigars in Jackson and the Rogue Men's Store, Jack Victor, Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, and Wolf and Shepherd, all at the Rogue Men's Store in Jackson. What do we have here from Sun Devil Macy on the Golden Moon Casino text line? He said Michael Jordan does a lot of custom rolls out of Cuba. Okay. I wonder if he has switched to non-Cubans yet, like the serious smoker since 2010. Well, yeah, the Cuban cigars have gone down. I mean, there's still amazing Cubans out there, but you are right. And I don't know what he says it in the article. I'll look it up as far as the ones that he's smoking now. I'm talking about Michael Jordan, who loves a cigar or sick. No, he's in the article in Cigar Aficionado. He smokes 6 on the golf course, which is unbelievable. He also likes to play 36 holes a day. That's incredible. I mean, you know, the gung-ho guys that we know are good with 18. And MJ, now, I mean, MJ doesn't have to work. Most of you do, not all of you. But MJ doesn't have to work, so he can do whatever he wants. And now they sold the Charlotte, what are they, the Hornets or the Bobcats? Okay, yeah. Now they went ahead and sold his stake in there. After being the best player to ever live, he was the worst GM. Gave Jerry Jones a run for his money. No, he was worse than that. That's saying something. Wow. Anyway, did that offend you that I said that about Michael Jordan? Because he is Teflon.
Is he, though?
He and Peyton Manning and...
Because he's taken shots before, man.
Trying to think who else. Who else? There's more out there. Yeah, but Jordan's Teflon.
But no, it doesn't fit me. Just don't say it about the best player that ever lived.
Well, he was a terrible general manager.
Oh, I was talking about Isaiah Thomas for the Boston Celtics.
Oh, good Lord. Stop it. All right, we're live in the Bank Plus studio. Do you have the Kiffin's audio? I teased it twice. All right, this is Lane Kiffin. Let me get my stuff together. Good grief. This is Lane Kiffin on who burns more calories, Lane or Kirby Smart?
Off the wall question, you and Kirby, two most probably some of the more demonstrative coaches on the field. Who do you think burns more calories in a game, you or him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I walked by the TV and saw his press conference today, so it don't look like he's burned too many calories.
Woo! Here we go. Let's go.
Just trying to find some recruits.
It don't look like he's burned too many calories.
Ooh, that's a drop. We're putting that in.
Just trying to find some recruits.
And then, so that's Lane. Here's Curbs.
We have a saying around our place, we eat off the floor. And if you're willing to eat off the floor, you can be special.
Are you willing to be special this weekend?
It's Lane saying he's eating a little too much, I guess.
And as our high school coaches told us, are you willing to give 110%?
Yeah, buddy.
Are you willing to give 110%?
Just trying to find some recruits.
Man, we caught some flack about that.
I mean, are you willing to?
No. I don't have that much percent.
I mean, it's mid-season. You got to be willing to take it another level.
Yeah, I can do that, but that's going to be part of my 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got a little flack for that. People weren't very pleased about that.
About the 110%?
Yeah, man. They think that there's all. They definitely let me know that there's always, you can always give a little bit more.
You remember when you were running sprints or suicides in high school, and you sat there and told yourself you were given 110%?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I mean, you were given you were doing your max, which is 100%. But I love the 110 sentiment.
Do you think once you got kicked out of Clinton and went to Mount Salus, did you give 110%?
I did do that.
Okay.
I did, to make sure that
to let them know.
I had to let them know.
Okay.
That's why I was a Clarion Ledger All-Star student. Yeah.
You were a Clarion Ledger All-Star student. Is that right?
12 in the state. 10 or 12. Yeah.
10 or 12 in the state. You were a Clarion Ledger All-Star student.
Absolutely.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah, man. Somebody threw me a bone, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
Take all the bones.
All right. I want some more audio here. Our audio today is brought to you by Juniker Jewelry Store in Madison. Engagement rings, beautiful, beautiful earrings, necklaces, and bracelets, all at Juniker Jewelry Store. Jay Meadows, I would like Signetti talking about the way that national media, college football media voters operate.
And let's face it, college athletics, college football has really changed a lot, in the last 5, 10, 15 years. And there's a division. There's no doubt about it in the media. And a lot of it's tied into whatever TV network is covering which conference. And then you're going to have sports writers that support those schools and are against the other schools. So there is definitely a great divide.
Let's go into
all right,
the process.
So that was just Kurt Signetti, and he's right. That's okay. I mean, you got the Fox group, who's going to be gung-ho Big Ten. Fair enough. Mixed in with a little Big 12. And you got the ESPN group, which is SEC and ACC. All right. Good deal. Yeah, that was Kurt Signetti, the Indiana coach for now. I don't know. Can Penn State lift him? Florida? If Brian Kelly messes up this weekend and another time, LSU? I don't know. Lane's not going to Penn State, but will Drinkwitz go?
I like that.
Yeah. Will he go? Or if they don't go get Kurt Signetti. Now, if Lane were to leave Ole Miss, would Ole Miss try to go get who would they try to go get? I mean, Lane's the best ever.
Urban Meyer.
Okay. Kurt Signetti or Urban Meyer? Is that where you're going?
I mean, if Ole Miss, that's a short list, right?
You're smiling.
It's got to be a short list. Bill, they might go get Belichick. He can run it down there.
Belichick, North Carolina, and Belichick are looking for an exit strategy.
Right?
Okay.
It's a done deal, right?
Well,
it's going to be an amicable split.
I don't think they are, but
Really?
they would love to split, but I don't think they will. No, they're going to give him one more year in the portal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. They're going to give him one more portal year if they don't find if Bill doesn't find a landing spot, which I don't know where Bill would go.
No.
I think the NFL's kind of done with him. And I know that's crazy to say, but I think they are.
Yeah, man, he's got to go to the couch.
I don't think he's wired. I think he's like Pete Carroll. They're both in their 70s, and he wants to keep working.
Yep. He's got that young little
thing. Maybe the Raiders, as good as Pete Carroll is, he's a Hall of Famer. Maybe the Raiders should have hired Lane Kiffin. I mean, Lane busted his butt to get his name in the hat there, and it just couldn't make it happen. So,
who would be the short list
for Ole Miss?
Yeah,
man, following Lane if and when it will happen at some point, but if and when it happens, I mean, Lane is throwing up such extraordinary numbers in Oxford, double-digit win seasons, and now is of course, I mean, nobody's got a clear path to the college football playoff, but
a good one.
We're going to see these back-to-back home games against Georgia and Oklahoma, how this is going to shake out for Lane. But he's got some padding. You go 10-2, you're in. So he can drop a couple of games on the way out and still make it. And possibly host.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Oxford around December 20th, which would be pandemonium around Christmas. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We got to have the freeze factor on here, too. I don't know where that drop is. You hadn't been able to find it? All right. Well, here we go. The Out of Bounds Show. Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Underdog, baby. Get your picks right. You could win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at Bengals, Steelers, and I'm selecting Jamar Chase for higher than 15 fantasy points. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code OUTOFBOUNDS to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code OUTOFBOUNDS. Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 and older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Boom. There we go. We got a big week in football, and we're going to have more. The coaching carousel is just getting going. I'm telling you, alums see another program, especially one that went 34-8 in their last 42 games in James Franklin, and Penn State moves off James Franklin in a red-hot second. And now what is Auburn going to do? What is Florida going to do? And what is LSU potentially going to do? And Kentucky, I mean, I know you don't care about Kentucky football, and I get it. They do host Texas this weekend. If they pull the upset, can you imagine Texas coming off beating Oklahoma? And, I know Kentucky's not any good, but they beat Ole Miss last year. It's a crazy time.
Man.
But the Big Blue host the Texas Longhorns this weekend, and then Mississippi State hosts the Texas Longhorns next weekend because a dozen Tito's guys are coming in town, which is going to be wild. But we're going to see Auburn's going to change. Florida's going to change. I would think Kentucky's going to make a change. Will LSU? LSU's the best job out of those four by a pretty good, margin. And then Florida's the next best, and then Auburn, and then Kentucky. So there you go. LSU's top, three? LSU, Georgia, Ohio State. Those are the best three jobs in the country.
Yep.
And it's you don't have any competition in the state. And You have players out the you know what, and you have the resources and the alumni base.
Buy-in.
Yeah, in the buy. So, yeah, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State. Yeah. I mean, you could.
Nope.
Well, you should be able to argue Southern Cal, but you can't because of the lack of buy-in. Now, they may, again, it only takes a couple of seconds for Southern Cal to find one guy, much less 10 to 30 guys who want to pump $50 million into the program every year to buy a roster. They can do that in their sleep. It's just a matter if they want to do that.
Right.
But, yeah, I'd say the best three jobs, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, in no particular order. You might want to go Ohio State number one because the Big Ten's weaker than the SEC. But those are Georgia doesn't have any. Brent Key and Georgia Tech doing great. But Georgia doesn't have any competition in the state of Georgia. LSU doesn't have any competition in the state of Louisiana. And Ohio State doesn't have any competition because it's a pro state.
Why isn't Penn State in that category?
Because they're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, just way out. Yeah.
But they are a top 5 to top 10 job in program because of their, whatever you told me, 700,000 to 800,000 living alums. And they can go pretty much anywhere and poach or get players, high school or portal. And they're committed.
Yeah, they're evidently committed.
And it sounds like they're damn well committed.
Yeah.
In fact, will you pull up the Todd McShay talking about James Franklin? Holy smokes. I'm a fan of McShay. I like him covering the NFL and the NFL draft, and he covers college football, and he's got his podcast, and I listen to it some, and I think he's not always right. No one is, but he does his homework. He's super connected and all that. But this is Todd McShay talking about James Franklin.
State, you watch these coaches. You're hiring at Penn State. Who are you thinking about?
Well, I'm thrilled that Penn State made the decision it did.
Really?
Yeah. Image, selfishness, agenda. Eventually, that kind of leadership rears its ugly head. I think James Franklin got away with it for entirely too long. I think it was, unfortunately with some coaches, it's all about them.
All right, so that was Todd McShay. I mean, y'all know McShay's connected. He knows everybody. He's with ESPN forever. His contract ran out. He's flipped into a monster NFL college football pod. He didn't hold back. He deals with these guys, and he deals with the college side and the NFL side, and I don't think McShay's going to have Franklin over for Thanksgiving dinner to have an Elijah Craig old-fashioned and put a beef tenderloin on the smoker. That's just my initial thoughts. What do y'all think on the text line? 601-885-3776. 601-885-3776. That was Todd McShay on Jackson's favorite coach, James Franklin.
Yeah.
By the way, you came in this morning just before you had even heard that. You came in today and you were absolutely throwing James Franklin under the bus, and then you don't like Franklin.
No, I mean, what has he done? I could have coached some of those teams to beat some of those. I mean, look, he didn't play anybody. He lost all the people he played that were better than him. Simple. Yeah. I can go on cruise control playing that schedule.
Wow.
I mean, and something tells like McShay that he's speaking from a very
he knows
convicted point of view. He knows.
Yeah, I mean, he knows how Franklin operates.
So I'm not. I buy it. I buy that. And Franklin kind of comes off like that.
Wow,
he does. He moans and gripes about stuff that win a ball game first, then you can moan and gripe. That's fine.
Well, they haven't won a big game since 2016, and they beat Ohio State. So
barely, yeah. And other than that,
he's beat a bunch of Purdue's, and Northwesterns.
That's phenomenal.
And Rutgers and Maryland's.
Great.
And Indiana's before Signetti. But now, Kurt Signetti is running the Big Ten. You know who I bet's not happy right now? Now they're still rolling, but I bet Buckeye fans are like, hey, y'all calm down on Kurt Cignetti. We're Ohio State.
Yeah.
We run the Big Ten.
It's cute.
Right. Yeah. We won the national championship last year. After wanting to fire Ron Day, after we lost Michigan, I listened to, Columbus Sports Talk. I mean, these people had lost their minds. They were ready to fire him. There was talk that his wife wanted out, that he was going to consider NFL jobs, Ron Day at Ohio State. I mean, they lost to an awful Michigan team. And Michigan's not any good this year either, which is not surprising after losing their best coach ever in Harbaugh. But we went like 10 to 12 days or 15 days of Ohio State wanting to fire Ron Day.
Yeah, it was solid.
Ross Bjork had to come out and say, it got so bad that Ross Bjork had to come out and say, no, we're not moving off Ron Day. I'm paraphrasing. Right. And then Ron Day went and won the national championship.
Convincingly.
Oh, what they did in the national title game to Notre Dame.
Brutal.
And Marcus Freeman did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
He did last year. But what they did in the national championship, Quinshon Judkins, I felt like scored 2 touchdowns in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Literally. I think he just scored again.
And I don't think they even thought about tackling him all night. They didn't even have to play Henderson, who was drafted before Quinshon Judkins.
So loaded.
Yeah.
And then Smith's out there just hanging out, ready to win a Heisman.
Ooh.
Very well could.
You think so?
Yeah, he's got a bunch of big games in front of him, so he's going to have big moments in those big games, and I think it's going to be like everybody's going to see it and be like, okay, yeah, give it to him. He's that good. He is that good.
You have some people that are throwing James Franklin under the bus, and then you got former players that are talking about how much they loved him.
Yeah, well, that's all cute.
I didn't realize he still went to Vanderbilt. I assume this was true. Somebody posted a picture of James Franklin at the College World Series after he had left to go to Penn State, that he would go out there when the Commodores made
That's cool.
the CW. Now, here's what I didn't know. In 2021, when I was there and Mississippi State beat Vanderbilt, they had Rocker and
Cuba.
Leiter.
Yep.
Yeah. And I can't remember those two dudes out in their
JJ Blade.
Yeah, so I don't remember. He may have been, but I don't remember James Franklin being there. I'd like to ask our listeners, did y'all see James Franklin at the 2021 College World Series? The text line is 601-885-3776.
To be fair, he's kind of ugly, so you wouldn't be looking at it.
Stop it. Goodness gracious. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Lunch today is brought to you by Burgers Blues Barbecue, B3 and Dogwood Flowwood. From the amazing blue plates to the Dirty Bird wrap to the smash burgers, all powered by Burgers Blues Barbecue, Dogwood Flowwood. And the restaurant is beautiful, and the bar is super cool. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the Out of Bounds Show on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN.